All right, we're cutting across to the Quad Summit. Prime Minister Narendra Modi meeting with his Australian counterpart. Let me cut across to the live visuals coming in from that Quad Summit. This is a huge in-person meeting of the Quad chiefs. In fact, we're looking at India, Japan, Australia, and the United States. Here is Prime Minister Modi along with the Quad leaders. He has his US counterpart, Joe Biden, Australian counterpart as well. These are live visuals coming in where Prime Minister Modi is meeting with his Australian counterpart, where they're, of course, going to be extensively discussing all developmental issues across the Indo-Pacific region, global issues of mutual interest that will be on the agenda. Here are live visuals coming in of Prime Minister Modi meeting with his Australian counterpart. Remember, the Quad security dialogue comprises of India, the United States, Japan, and Australia. A little earlier, these were visuals coming in, a little earlier of Prime Minister Modi with his United States counterpart, Joe Biden. This is the second in-person meet at the Quad Summit, where Prime Minister Modi has, remember, been lauded for the pandemic fight, India's fight back and bounce back after the COVID-19 pandemic. Prime Minister Modi was well received and very well appreciated by the Quad leaders for fighting the pandemic the way we did, and of course a big appreciation coming in to India over the vaccine rollout. Amid all of that, there's much discussion on developmental issues across the Indo-Pacific region and global issues of mutual interest extensively discussed. Here's the Prime Minister Narendra Modi meeting with his Australian counterpart. This is day 2 of the Quad Summit. These are live visuals. Prime Minister Modi meeting with the Australian Prime Minister. Of course, a lot of issues on the agenda that would be discussed. In fact, here we're looking at the Prime Minister who's been lauded for the COVID-19 fight back. India, the way it bounced back post the pandemic, and the vaccine rollout has been largely appreciated by the Quad leaders. Japan, United States, India, Australia coming together to discuss global mutual interests to try and understand what's the best for development within the Indo-Pacific region. Remember, India has been positioning itself as an investment hub. Of course, Prime Minister Modi has been pitching to invite investments into India at this point. And that said, we believe that Japan, US, Australia, all set to invest at least 50 billion in the Indo-Pacific region, along with India, of course. This is a decision that's unanimously taken. At least 50 billion that the 4 Quad nations, Japan, United States, India, and Australia, all plan to invest within the Indo-Pacific region. A big boost to the bilateral ties, and of course also speaks extensively of the kind of relation that India currently shares with global leaders like the United States, like Japan, Australia as well. Here you're seeing great bonhomie by Prime Minister Modi with his Australian counterpart. Extensively that they will be discussing mutual interests within the Indo-Pacific region, and we believe a discussion on $50 billion to be invested within the Indo-Pacific region. All the 4 Quad nations have now come to a unanimous decision. Now, this is, of course, a highly anticipated Modi-Biden one-on-one bilateral talk as well, as we saw, the first post the pandemic that was held to only strengthen United States and India's mutual ties. At this bilateral meeting here with the Prime Minister, Narendra Modi, United States President said that both the nations were committed to make the US-India partnership among the closest there exists. Let's take a listen to reactions coming in on the same.
क्वाड और कल घोषित आईपीएफ इसके सक्रिय उदाहरण हैं। आज हमारी चर्चा से इस पॉजिटिव मोमेंटम को और गति मिलेगी। मुझे विश्वास है कि भारत और अमेरिका की मित्रता, वैश्विक शांति और स्थिरता, प्लेनेट की सस्टेनेबिलिटी और मानव जाति के कल्याण के लिए एक फोर्स फॉर गुड बनी रहेगी। मिस्टर प्रेसिडेंट, आपसे मिलकर हमेशा बहुत खुशी होती है आज हमने एक और सकारात्मक और उपयोगी क्वाड समिट में भी साथ साथ भाग लिया। भारत और अमेरिका की स्ट्रेटेजिक पार्टनरशिप सही मायने में एक पार्टनरशिप ऑफ ट्रस्ट है। हमारे साझा मूल्यों और सुरक्षा सहित कई क्षेत्रों में हमारे समान हितों ने इस ट्रस्ट के बॉन्ड को मजबूत किया है। हम दोनों ही देश के इंडो पैसिफिक क्षेत्र के बारे में भी समान नजरिया रखते हैं और न सिर्फ द्विपक्षीय स्तर पर बल्कि अन्य लाइक माइंडेड देशों के साथ अपने साझा मूल्यों और साझा हितों को सुरक्षित रखने के लिए काम कर रहे हैं। हम टेक्नोलॉजी के क्षेत्र में अपना द्विपक्षीय सहयोग बढ़ा रहे हैं और वैश्विक मुद्दों पर भी आपसी समन्वय सुदृढ़ कर रहे हैं। हमारे पीपल टू पीपल रिलेशंस और घनिष्ठ आर्थिक संबंधों में भी हमारी पार्टनरशिप को यूनिक बनाते हैं। हमारे बीच ट्रेड और निवेश में भी निरंतर विस्तार होता जा रहा है, यद्यपि ये हमारे पोटेंशियल से अभी बहुत कम है। मुझे विश्वास है कि हमारे बीच इंडिया यूएसए इन्वेस्टमेंट इंसेंटिव एग्रीमेंट से निवेश की दिशा में कॉन्क्रीट प्रगति देखने को मिलेगी।
We also discussed the ongoing effects of Russia's brutal and unjustified invasion of Ukraine and the effect it has on the entire global world order. And the U.S. and India are going to continue consulting closely on how to mitigate these negative effects. I'm pleased that we've reached agreement for the U.S. Development Finance Corporation to continue its important work in India, supporting vaccine production, clean energy initiatives, and I'm also glad we're renewing the Indo-U.S. Vaccine Action Program.
Now, leaders in the Quad Summit have heaped praises for Prime Minister Narendra Modi. As I did mention, United States President Joe Biden praised the Prime Minister for handling the COVID-19 pandemic quite successfully and contrasted India's success with China's failure to handle the pandemic. He added that Prime Minister Modi's success showed the world that democracies can deliver and busted the myth that these nations, autocratic nations like China and Russia, can handle rapidly changing world better. According to sources, these remarks from President Biden appear to be unscripted, as he made a special intervention to say these remarks even before he could actually get on to his prepared speech. In fact, newly elected Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese has said that vaccines supplied by India to other countries have made a difference on the ground, and that such a success is more valuable than just winning a theoretical debate of ideas. Japanese Prime Minister Fumio Kishida has also appreciated India's contribution and recalled that Indian-made vaccines delivered under the Quad Vaccine Initiative were received with gratitude in Thailand and Cambodia.
Prime Minister Modi, it's wonderful to see you again in person. Thank you for your continuing commitment to making sure democracies deliver, because that's what this is about, democracies versus autocracies, and we have to make